I've bought and sold over $10 million worth of land at this point. And here are the biggest things that I've learned in terms of being successful in this business, buying land profitably, selling land profitably, and doing it year after year. And the first thing is brand. Your brand is everything. The way you present your business to a seller is absolutely everything. And most gurus will tell you to just send out the mail and keep sending out the mail, kind of cross your fingers and hope for the best. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Just couldn't be further from the truth. And it's unfortunate because I've had a lot of clients come to me after hearing this and kind of getting some pretty piss poor results and telling me like, yeah, man, they just said send out the mail and don't worry about how my company looks. And I mean, gosh, it makes me upset. Your brand is everything. You need to be paying attention to how you're perceived by a seller. And if you're not paying attention to that, then someone else is. I'm paying attention to how a seller sees me. I'm paying attention to that. I want to know, okay, great. Do I stand out amongst all these other land companies that are sending mailers? Do I stand out? I want to make sure that I stand out. So pay very close attention to your branding. And I will, without a doubt, make at least 7 figures a year from land flipping because I pay attention to brand. Not only do I pay attention to brand as a land business, but even as I've grown, I also pay attention to brand as a funder. So I get 20 to 25 messages at this point every day about JV funding. Literally every day. Why? Because I focus on brand. Why do you think Coca-Cola is the top of the top? Why do you think Apple is the top of the top? Because they focus on brand. As a company, you need to focus on your brand. Don't let anyone try to trick you into thinking that you're some kind of 2-bit hustler because you're not. Present yourself as a Fortune 500 company when you're dealing with sellers. And when you do that, you're going to be in a situation where you're making a ridiculous amount of money because doing that gives you an edge over the market that other people just don't have. Now, second, you never want to turn off your marketing machine. I see this so many times when people they start doing this, they get all excited about it, they watch the content, they learn, and then they send out marketing for 1 or 2 months. And then maybe they get a deal or 2 deals and they're like, all right, cool, I got a deal now. I'm gonna chill and just focus on this deal. No, you're missing out key components of the business. When you start doing this, you need to hold marketing for anywhere from 6 to 8 months. And then keep going after that. Do you see Coca-Cola turn off their ads? Do you see the biggest creators in the world turn off their content? No, you have to keep marketing. You have to keep marketing. What kind of business stops marketing? If you're not marketing, you're not getting leads in. And I think so many people have this scarcity mindset when it comes to marketing. It's like, no, that's the most important. That's the lifeblood of your business. Now, if you're just blindly marketing and not tracking any KPIs and you're not branding your marketing, this is where you're wasting money. But this is why I say focus on branding. If you're focused on that, then your marketing is going to consistently provide a positive ROAS for you. So this is very important to pay attention to and focus on is continuously marketing. And we market week by week. So there's never a time where I'm not probing, prospecting, getting leads. We're always getting leads in for our business. If you're not doing this, then you're literally dying. The other thing people will do is send out a mailer and not get any results. Well, this is why I say your brand is so important. Brand is so important. So these 2 rules really tie in together when it comes to buying land consistently. And I've used this to add so much land to my own portfolio and just build wealth. I'm touring a property right now. I'm actually touring a multitude of properties today, but it's just one of them. Over the last month or so, I've been aggressively buying and holding a lot of deals. So this is all because of brand. It's because I never turn off my marketing because I'm always getting leads, because I always have an opportunity. So I'm able to always find myself in situations where I'm buying land consistently. So when it comes to your marketing, make sure to budget for 6 to 8 months out. Don't get overexcited and be like, all right, cool, I'm going to send out 20,000 mailers. Boom, let's send out 20,000 mailers 1 month. Oh, but I can't do it the next 6 to 8 months. Don't try to come into this and be a big baller and send out 10,000 mailers or 20,000 mailers one time if you cannot sustain it for 6 to 8 months. Now, if you can sustain it, that's a totally different story. Only send what you can sustain for 6 to 8 months because it's a drip effect. And it really is that cause and effect of just continuing to do it because most people are going to quit. You stay in the game, you keep going, you don't quit, you're gonna make more money than everyone else. And the thing is, it's psychology, because you really have to dial into your head that as long as I stay consistent with this marketing, as long as I keep going and keep sending out the mail, I'm going to make money. That's inevitable. It's inevitable that I'll make money, without a doubt. But you gotta keep sending out the mail. And you have to make sure you budget your data, budget your marketing, budget everything to sustain you for 6 to 8 months. And most people that I see, they fail because they don't do this. And they think that it's the lottery. We're not playing the lottery here. I mean, in many ways, the payouts, I mean, every time I get paid out, I mean, at this point, it's so normal, but when you get payouts from this for your, I remember my first 20 deals, those payouts felt like I hit the lottery. We're talking about 50K, 60K, 100K, 200K, like back to back to back to back. Ridiculous. 20K, 25K. It's crazy. And it does feel like you're winning the lottery, but we're not winning the lottery. We are calculated. We're making calculated steps and moves to get repeated results and to be repeatedly profitable. Number 4, your people skills. Your people skills are your absolute greatest weapon. There's no better skill than being able to speak to different types of people and build relationships with different types of people, and also just listening to their problem and crafting your solution around that problem. Okay, so what problem do you specifically have? And I'm listening to it, I'm asking clarifying questions, and I'm understanding your problem. As I understand your problem, I'm going to convey my solution in a way that allows you to see that my solution is the best solution for you. Once you master that, the deals that you do will be exponential compared to anything that you've done before. You have to master that ability. And you see, most people do this once or 2 times and they don't know what they did. I track very carefully, what did I do that worked here? What did I do that worked? How do we create a process around this thing that worked? If I just made $200,000, I'm gonna figure out how I made $200,000 so I can go and do it 200 more times. And you see, most people do not think like that. Most people think it's luck. Most people think it's just by chance that it happens. But no, you can calculate these things to happen. And if you consistently talk to a person in a way that allows them to trust in your solution, you'll consistently be able to sell your solutions. This is how the world works. And so when you apply this to land flipping, doing deals on a consistent basis, you're gonna do more deals than you ever thought you could do. Because then it's not just about, oh, hey, Billy Bob, here's an offer. It's, hey, Billy Bob, I understand that you have this problem. Well, here's exactly how I can help you. Here's exactly how I can help. And also, you can trust me to help you because I've done it with this person, and this property. When it comes to selling your properties, you need to tell stories. Stop putting your properties on the market and crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. Every single property that comes into your CRM, you need to be thinking about, how do I best tell a story to the person that's most likely to buy this property? How do I tell that story? Through the marketing, through the photos, through the drone shots, through how I would describe it in the listing, through the broker that I use. How do I tell that story in the best possible way? You need to be thinking about this. Don't just stop throwing up listings. I tell stories in all of my listings. That's why all my properties sell within 90 days, because I'm telling stories. I don't just throw it up and hope for the best. And most people do that, which is why most people will be sitting 6, 7, 8, 9 months down the line, not having sent out any mail anymore, not sending out any text, not marketing, and just sitting on their hands waiting for a property to sell. I want to control everything that I can control. I can control how good my listing looks. So I'm going to control that. So I'm also going to control my marketing to make sure that I'm running a business. You don't run a business if you have 3 or 4 listings up. Oh yeah, I've got a land flipping business. I got 3 or 4 listings up. Where's your marketing? What are your KPIs for the listing? People don't know these things. What's your process for getting marketing up? What's your process for getting drone shots? What's your process for getting quality photos? What's your process? Most people don't have these processes in place, and then they wonder why they can't surpass $250,000 a year. You wonder why you can't do that. You wonder why you can't hit $1 million, because you don't have any of these processes. You wonder why. You wonder why you can't do deals where you're making $200,000 or $300,000. All these things are things that I've done, by the way. So The reason why you can't do these things is because you don't have any processes around it. Tracking your numbers, tracking your KPIs is inherently important for success. I need to know what leads to coming to agreement with the seller. I need to know literally everything about my business. And if I don't know that, well, then I'm setting myself up for failure. So tracking my KPIs, okay, how many sellers do we talk to actually get a deal under contract? I need to know this. And if I don't know that, well, then I'm setting myself up for failure, without a doubt. You also want to make sure that when you build relationships with title companies, brokers, realtors, droners, anyone that is going to help you in your business, you want to make sure that you're building relationships and building them to last. And you do this by taking care of people. I've referenced this in many of my videos of how I take care of people so that even if we haven't done a deal in a couple months, if I, reference back to them and say, hey, I need a little bit of help with this, or hey, I want to list this with you, they're happy to, because one, I've gotten them paid before, and two, even on top of that, I've taken care of them extra. So maybe I send them some lunch, or I send them some cookies, or I send them some flowers, or, whatever. Usually I've never done flowers, but most of the time it's cookies or food. And you do that, people just really appreciate that because you're going the extra mile. I'll send them a nice card, something like that, just to show my appreciation, or even some extra bonus. You want to just build relationships with people, especially because most of these areas, and now I'm just starting to get to the point where I'm walking the property that I'm adding to my portfolio. Now I'm just getting to the point where I'm walking the property that I'm adding to my portfolio. But I would say about 99% of the deals that I've done and completed, I've never seen them in person. And so how are you able to generate millions of dollars if you can't even see the product? Well, you do that by building really good relationships. And if you just continue to do that and think of it not as just a turn and burn, but like, okay, let me go into these markets, make my impression in these markets, so that way, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, I own it. Because all these people in this area know me. That's why people join LandVerse, because they want to have access to my connections, right? And so I'll give you a title company, I'll give you a broker, because I have the connections, because I built them up over years and years and several deals completed. And so you want to be able to build these kind of relationships. And you also do this by just talking to people and providing value consistently. And just don't be a lame person. Don't be a lame person. You want to be someone that can be depended on. You want to be someone that can be counted on. You want to be someone that follows through on what they do. If you continuously do that, you're going to have people that want to work with you. Land is a crazy vehicle for wealth building, but you need to know when to do what. I think it's so easy to get excited about all the subdivide deals because you see people that are at level 10, 15, level 20 that are doing it. When in reality, you just need to focus on flipping. Like now, especially because of what's happening in the market and the economy, I've been so aggressively buying and holding land for my portfolio. But I wasn't able to do anything like that until I hit $1 million liquid. If you're not at $1 million liquid, you don't need to be thinking about subdividing. You don't need to be thinking about developing. You don't think about any of that stuff until you have $1 million liquid from flipping land. Why is it that number? Because honestly, it's very simple to get to that number if you consistently do deals. If you're doing everything that I said in all these previous steps, you're gonna get to $1 million liquid, no problem. No problem. In less than 18 months, you can get to $1 million liquid if you focus on the processes, you focus on doing the deals, how I show you how to do it. If you need help with that, if you need help getting to $1 million in your land flipping business in the next 18 months, book a strategy call with me below. I'd love to help. Don't try to do level 15, level 20 strategies when you're still at level 1. Don't try to do a subdivide deal and hold on to it for 12, 13 months and you've got 50 grand. You don't have any capital. You don't have any money. You just got $100,000 and you think that you're a big baller, but you're not. You don't have any money. You need to have capital to do these deals. Even if you're just raising the money, you need to show that you can put up collateral. Like you need to have money if you're going to do these deals. And I think so many people they get caught in the, I can make this money faster if I just do it this way. Well, no. Get to $1 million liquid, because if you're under $1 million liquid, you are still poor. Without a doubt, get to $1 million liquid before you start trying to make these big plays and start adding to your portfolio. And, I think I'm going to keep this one. I think I'm going to develop on this one. Where's your cash? How much cash do you have? How much cash do you have? Because if you don't have $1 million liquid, you shouldn't be doing it. You just shouldn't. And that's real advice that no one is really going to tell you. No one will tell you that. I didn't start holding land until I got to that point. So just don't overcomplicate your business model. You want to keep things simple at first. build processes around it. Once you have a business, an actual business that's printing you anywhere from $250,000 to $350,000 net profit per quarter, then you could start building up your portfolio, maybe start holding some stuff here and there, start looking at subdivides, start doing those bigger things, but do not do it until you get to that point. And I see so many people mess up and fail at their business because they did that and they weren't ready for it. Because you got this king of a deal, okay, flip it. Flip that deal. You think you can subdivide it? Okay, great, flip it. Because you need to get to the point in your business where you've built processes that it runs without you. That's where you need to get if you want to be in a position to really build wealth for yourself. Because that's the position I've gotten to. That's why I'm saying that. I know this because that's what I've done. And I'm now in a position where, okay, I already have that cushion. I already have this cushion. I know come hell or high water, I'll do 7 figures. So now I can focus on empire building plays. Now I can focus on building my brand. Now I can focus on helping other people. Now I can focus on larger deals. Now I can focus on adding land to my portfolio. But you can't do that until you get to 7 figures liquid. So please do not overcomplicate it. Stay focused on the task at hand. Stay focused on doing your first 100 deals. Stay focused around building processes around the success of every single one of those deals. And if you do that, you'll make multiple millions of dollars in profit. Make sure to leave your notes in the comments. Leave the top 3 things that you learned from this video, and I'll see you on the next video.